on this computer. Here we are, OddCast number 5. So last week on OddCast 4, we spoke about the property market. And lo and behold, this week, we've got a breaking news story. That one, breaking news, Dubai, or the UAE. Organised Crime and Corruption Reporting Project have broken a story around property that's been sold or over there. And I'm just going to talk briefly about 3 stories that leapt out of me, and then I'm going to bring in our Dubai property expert, resident in the area. So some of you may recall the OneCoin crypto scandal with Ruja Ignatova, who is thought to be on the run. Some would say she's not with us anymore. She's been killed. But a lot of people got scammed out of a lot of money, and there was a collapsed trial, I think, in the because she went on her toes. And 2 years after that, the penthouse apartment that belonged to her in Dubai was sold. So presumably somebody is acting upon her instructions. Then we have, and some people will be aware of this, the Singapore money laundering case, and that's huge. And some of the suspects from that apparently have got property in Dubai. And then there's another story which isn't OCCRP related, but it is about Australian drug smugglers and Hells Angels buying property at the Sunrise Bay Tower. So without further ado, I'm going to go straight over to our correspondent, Colin Solomon. And what do you reckon, Colin?
Well, I reckon I should be promoted to ex-expert, because an expert used to be a pert, and I used to be an expert, but I think now I'm an ex-expert.
Yep.
I'm also resident in the area if you cast an extremely wide net. But you, me, and the fan remember us talking about the inadequacies of client due diligence in the property sector. The fan will also remember, is the UAE really ready to come off the grey list, and our clients associated with the UAE really lower risk today than they were 6 months ago? And I think the story's broken by the organisation, and they're breaking so many stories, Colin, and you're 3. Can I congratulate you on your choice of 3? Because you brought in crypto, you brought in Hells Angels, you brought in the Far East. I mean, it's a pot-boiling thriller novel.
Yeah.
The issue is client well enough by the people acting for people who own property or selling property when the properties might have been acquired with proceeds of crime? And as the editor-in-chief of the Middle East desk on behalf of OddCast, I'd say no.
Something's going wrong, isn't it? I wonder whether the property market or people that work in the property market have ever been trained in CDD, or is it just something they don't want to even address because they are very commercially focused? What do you think?
Oh, I like that choice of your phrase. Are they very commercially focused? I think sometimes people who work on commissions in transactions and on fee-based for doing conveyancing are going to be commercially driven, because at the end of the day, they're trying to achieve the right level of reward for their activity. When you set a fee for doing a piece of work, you don't just need to make sure you're rewarded for the work you're doing, you need to make sure you're being rewarded for the risk in doing. And at the moment, I think there is probably a mismatch, a disjoint between how much appreciation there should be of anti-money laundering regulations and money laundering risk in property. And Dubai is the current newsworthy hotspot. But there are other cities, Sydney apparently, Bangkok apparently, where property prices are escalated as a result of the inflow of proceeds of crime, allegedly, making them those properties unaffordable, who are paying Social Security, who are paying income tax, who are carrying out respectable existences that don't involve profiting on the misery of others.
Yeah, and London, you know, has been mentioned previously, hasn't it? You know, we're not, we know it's not, we're not. Well, we're focusing on the UAE and those three stories. As you say, there are other places that are not doing this properly either. So it's a huge.
Isabel dos Santos, president of the former president slash dictator, depending on your owning multiple multi-million-pound properties in the UK. The UK authorities are investigating her, and they're asking, how do you have this wealth? And they're using a UK piece of legislation, the Unexplained Wealth Order, and you can't explain that you've acquired your wealth legitimately, then an unexplained wealth order allows the authorities to say, well, it's not yours if you can't explain how you got it legitimately. Yeah. Colin, do you know where every £5 in your wallet came from?
I wish. I'm not sure. I don't.
Well, I know where every pound, every euro of my wealth came from, and that's not just because I like attention to detail. That's because at the end of the day, it's important. The income tax authorities in my jurisdiction have the right to investigate me at any time, and I'm going to stand up and say, I'm an open book. I'm an open book.
Yeah. I mean, the reason for my sort of response to that is because I don't use cash very much anymore. You know, I use my phone invariably, and I can see every single transaction where it's coming in and out. So, cash has become less of a thing for me.
My reference to cash was more about the value of our wealth. How much have we got? I mean, I'm sitting on property today. I own that property, but how did I acquire the funds to acquire that property? It's a bit like when you went to put your property on the market and you have to tick a box that says, I'm not a politically exposed person.
Yeah.
I mean, how much diligence goes into get Colin Tansley to tell us he's not a politically exposed
it's tick box
person? I mean, at the minimum, we're obtaining proof of identity, proof of your address, and verify that your source of funds and your source of wealth are acceptable. Surely. I know, please, I know. Stop calling me surely.
No, but I think the thing here, and I would look at this from a former cop, is that criminals will exploit weaknesses. And if they see a weakness in a market, they're going to go for it as much as they possibly can until that gap is plugged. And it just seems to me that the property market is ripe for exploitation by bad people.
Thank you. In 30 seconds, I'm going to respond and say, if people are commercially driven and they're seeing their commission, they're seeing their fee, but not seeing the money laundering risk, then nor are they seeing their failures in terms of money laundering regulations. Ergo, that's where the weakness exists that causes them problem. Their business gets on the front page of the papers for the wrong reasons, and so criminals get away with crime. And I think I have to drum roll at that moment. Criminals get away with crime because firms don't try hard enough to meet their AML regulations.
And who suffers at
the training drum, isn't it?
Yeah, and also at the end of the day, it's a societal thing. And I think we keep banging on about this. But anyway, it is.
Cheer me up, Colin. Cheer me up.
Yeah. Well, okay. I've got a joke for you. It's very... I know that you live in well, we did say Dubai, but I won't say anymore. But this could be relevant. So I tripped in France. I fell over. That's it. Right, I'll try my second one then. So I'm in my office, okay? And I've been wondering why...
By the way, the office is beautiful. It's stunning. The breaking news office of the OddCast correspondence is a beautiful brick building.
We're still working on getting your one sorted out. But I was wondering why there was music coming from my printer this morning. Turns out it was jamming.
Why was there music?
You didn't even answer, did you? Because you have...
On behalf of the fan, and he knows who he is, that is not meeting the joke due diligence standard we're going to work to. Colin, I'm done. Are you done for today?
I'm done, mate. Good to see you. And we shall see everybody again soon.
Now, just to say, in the true spirit of the masters of comedy, I'm going to say goodbye from me and goodbye from him. He is Colin Tansley, and I am Solomon. Thank you.
Thanking you.